Good morning, Andre from Peak Motorcycles here. It's not a bad day, we've got a bit of cloud cover, but I can see a little bit of blue. And this is my first mini tour, I suppose, for 2022. So I'm heading off to Holyhead on Anglesey to take the ferry over to Ireland for the ABR Ireland Rally for 2022. So it's only just a 3-day trip away. This will be my first video of maybe, well, 1, 2 or 3, depending how much content I get. I'm setting off a little later than planned, but hopefully I'll be able to take in the Horseshoe Pass in Wales and maybe even the Llanberis Pass as I get closer to the west coast. Anyway, I'll take a bit of video as I go. I expect it to be fairly short and I'll try and focus on the more interesting and scenic bits that I don't normally get to show. All right, looking forward to a good day's riding. Great to be back on the bike and back on a tour, even if it is only for a very quick 3-day jaunt over to Wales. So I'm heading from Edale, where I live, this road, same one that was used in that Royal Enfield Tripper video, and it really is a huge amount of fun. And I'm going to head from here over towards North Wales and then on to Holyhead on Anglesey, where I'll take the ferry, and it's a fast ferry that takes me directly into Dublin, and from there I've got a couple of hours to head up to the campsite for the ABR Ireland Rally 2022. I'm a first time attendee at this event. I went to the ABR Rally last year in the UK. It was one of the first post-COVID events that I got to go to, and yeah, everyone just seemed to be a really nice bunch of people. I mean, it was huge. There's thousands of people. Oh, hello, lamb. And yeah, through one of the forums where I think I'd had an account for about, well, several years at least, I saw that this trip was posted. Looks like a much smaller group. Definitely won't be thousands of people. Tens, I think, is more likely. But it seemed to be quite an active post. And actually, after my tour to Ireland last year with Magellan Motorcycle Tours, which I thoroughly enjoyed leading, it seemed to be a good opportunity to have another crack at Ireland, if you will. So yeah, looking forward to 3 good days of riding. Today it's a bit of a dash to get to the ferry because, well, I'm leaving a little bit later than planned. I think currently the sat-nav is telling me that if I want to do the twisty route that I had planned, I'm going to get there 40 minutes after the last check-in for the ferry. So I'm just going to see how it goes. If that number doesn't start coming down, I'll just cut out a couple of waypoints, especially towards the end, and just zip along to the ferry directly. Anyway, looking forward to a good day, so I'll keep you posted as I go. I skipped the boring bit, which was me just making up some miles on the motorways to get over from England into Wales, which is where I am now. So this is the Horseshoe Pass, heading up towards the Ponderosa Cafe, and for those of you who have ever ridden in Wales might already be familiar with this road. It is reasonably well known, and the Ponderosa Cafe at the top is a long established biker's place. So I did go this way on my way to on my Ireland trip last year as well, and it really is cracking fun. What I have noticed is I'm a little bit short on time. It's saying I'm going to get there at about the time that the check-in closes for the ferry. So yeah, I'll keep going. I'm sure it'll be fine. I can make up a couple of minutes on the motorway for the last bit, but it means that I won't be doing the Llanberis Pass as well. Maybe I'll try and pick that up on my way home in a couple of days' time. It really is just such a fun run to ride. I won't put too much of this into the video. I'm sure there's plenty of full Horseshoe Pass videos out there, but just to show you a little bit of it, just the type of scenery that you get here in Wales. So if you see that sort of grey line up in the distance, we're going to head over to that, and then that's the road back as it tracks up the mountain. You see on the left here, it's just all this Welsh slate, so a light grey colour. Cracking views back down the valley. Doesn't look very open today, so I think I'll skip that. I didn't have time for a stop anyway. This is the descent down on the other side, heading west over towards Anglesey. So much fun. I'm now back on a boring road, or at least some of it's boring. This is the A55, the North Wales Expressway, and some bits of it feel a bit alpine. You know, there's tunnels, these quite dramatic hills on the left, which sometimes become sea cliffs, and then from time to time I have the sea on the right. I've just got to pretend I'm somewhere a bit more exciting and stuck behind various bits of traffic and some roadworks. So this is the bridge that goes from Wales over to into Anglesey. Actually, I suspect Anglesey is also part of Wales, but nevertheless, yeah, it's where the motorway actually drops down just to one lane, just to cross these straits, along with the electricity and everything else. So we're not far away now, 21 miles to the ferry terminal. I think the check-in closed at 10:30, and yeah, because I switched my route, I'm now going to have about 5 minutes to spare when I get there. I'm not sure how strict they are on the rules, but definitely better to be there earlier if there's an opportunity to do so. Well, that is a relief. I think I had about 1 minute to spare just coming in here, but I've made it. So yeah, all set for the fast ferry from here, Holyhead, over to Dublin. It is blowing a bit of a gale actually. On that last bit of road, I did feel like I was being blown around a little bit. But yeah, all good fun. Got what I needed to do. Got just about enough sleep last night. So yeah, good morning, and it stayed dry throughout, which is always a bit of a bonus. Well, it's good to know that I'm not the only motorcycle on the boat. Looks like there'll be at least a couple of others. And on to the Dublin Swift. And here we are in Dublin. It's been a while since I've been here. It was last September, coming back on my tour with Magellan Motorcycle Tours. It's great, there's only 2 motorbikes it seems on this boat, and we're the first 2 off, so hopefully we'll be the first 2 through passport control. Thanks a lot. And we're through. So here we are in Ireland. It's not exactly what I had in mind. I'm just heading on the N3 out of Dublin, and it's absolutely pouring with rain. I'm guessing there's probably quite a lot of water on the camera, as there's quite a lot on my visor, but not a lot I can do about it. So yeah, I'll just carry on through. If it gets really bad, I'll try and find some high ground. I only wish I'd brought my swimming stuff. I would have been much better prepared. Well, it's stopped raining at least, and now I'm on the Boyne Scenic Drive, which actually is rather fun and not particularly busy. The Boyne Valley Drive, sorry. It's not particularly warm, but I can see some clearer skies up ahead, so I'm feeling slightly optimistic. And you know what? Having roads like this, it's definitely better than being at work. So I do see some hills and mountains up there on the right, so maybe that's where tomorrow's ride out will take us. There's very clear instructions to arrive with a full tank and an empty bladder, so I think I will need to fill it with petrol before I get there. I think I've still got about 40 miles left with only 19 miles to go, so I'll probably stop at the next petrol station. It's odd really, there do seem to be petrol stations nearly everywhere in Ireland, and I found this when I came here last year as well. And even though you'd think you'd be in the middle of nowhere, even the smallest of villages has a petrol station as pretty much a standard thing. The scenery is definitely different to what I'm used to in the Peak District. There's a lot more sort of lowland, a lot of really big mature trees, a lot of water around, a lot of lakes. So it's a place to take in the scenery while you're riding. There's certainly a lot to look at. The road surface also is varied. This bit here isn't actually too bad in that it's mostly got a consistent feel to it. There's quite a few places where there's been like heaped gravel down the middle of each lane, which isn't ideal, or even an irregular road surface in the way it's been paved. But you know, you can take it easy. I'm in no rush. I'm not going to run out of daylight, and hopefully the bar won't run out of Guinness. and it was inevitable I'd end up on a little road somewhere. So this is apparently this road is called Main Street, and it's the road that takes me from where I was into the village or town of Leitrim, which is I think the county town and hopefully my fuel stop. That's not too bad. I mean, there's no road markings, there's no verge, haven't seen any other vehicles on it yet. It does have this sort of layer of gravel up the middle of the lane where ideally I'd like to be. Oh, but even that comes to an end. We must be coming into downtown now, into the big city. Well, maybe. The roads got wider. Now there's 2 lanes of gravel. So here we go. Apparently this is the campsite just in here on the left. See at least one bike, that's always a good sign. So that's it, made it here. I didn't take a lot of video when I arrived just because I wanted to get my tent up between the showers. But now it's actually just looking really nice. We have blue skies, believe it or not, here at the Battlebridge camping and caravan site. And it's actually really nice. You can just see the bridge itself and the stream just behind me there, hopefully. And there's a fair few other people here. There's a lot of BMWs around, but it's the way of these things. Anyway, that's kind of the end of my riding for today. If there's anything going on in the bar later, maybe I'll take a little bit more video and put that in the one for day one. Anyway, I hope this has been interesting and useful. If it has, maybe I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.